Resident Evil didn't just change with its seventh installment. It committed franchise suicide to save its soul. By trading global bioterrorism for a rotting house in Louisiana, Capcom proved that bigger isn't always better. To truly reclaim its identity, the series had to stop giving you bullets and start giving you nightmares. Let us be honest. Before this game, the franchise was becoming an action series with some scary set dressing. We were more likely to be found performing wrestling moves on zombies than being genuinely afraid. That changed by embracing vulnerability. Gone were the super soldiers. We were no longer playing as trained mercenaries or agents like Leon or Chris. Those characters were veterans of countless bioweapon outbreaks. They were walking tanks. We were playing as Ethan Winters, an ordinary guy looking for his missing wife. A guy who would have been more effective at filing a police report than facing down the Baker plantation. This was a critical shift. We weren't powerful. We were terrified. The move to first person was essential because it removed the safety net of the third-person camera. In previous games, you saw your character and their reactions. There was a separation between the player and the victim. In this game, that is gone. Every corner you turn is a personal threat. You don't just watch the horror happen to someone else. You are the horror. The restricted field of view and the way the camera sways as you walk makes every hallway feel like a gauntlet. You cannot see what is creeping up behind you, and in the Baker estate, something is always creeping. And of course, there is the resource scarcity. This wasn't a world where ammo rained from the sky like confetti. Every bullet felt like a precious commodity that you had to earn. You weren't managing an arsenal. You were managing a prayer. Finding a single herb or a handful of pistol rounds was a moment of genuine relief. It forces you to think before you shoot. Do I try to kill this creature, or do I run? This constant calculation of being on the edge of running dry added a layer of tension that defines the experience. It restored the survival in survival horror. When a single enemy takes half your magazine to stop, you realize very quickly that you are not the hunter. You are the prey. The game rejected the sprawling global chaos of its predecessor. We went from fighting a worldwide threat to exploring a single, derelict plantation. That claustrophobia restored the series' sense of isolation, but the real achievement was the psychological impact of domestic horror. We are used to seeing horror in grand Gothic castles or sterile high-tech labs. Those places are distant. But here, the horror is found in the everyday. Familiar objects like a dusty photo album, a rusted stove, or a half-finished meal on a table become instruments of terror. These details contribute to a pervasive sense of wrongness. It is the horror of the unfamiliar within the familiar. It taps into our deepest anxieties about home and safety. A house is supposed to be a sanctuary, but the Baker house is a trap. The peeling wallpaper and the creaking floorboards create a soundscape that keeps you constantly on edge. Every sound could be a footstep. Every shadow could be Jack Baker waiting to welcome you to the family. Even backtracking became a fundamental part of the fear. You learn the layout of the house, you know the shortcuts and the hiding spots. But as the story progresses, the environment evolves. It becomes corrupted by the mold. New threats emerge in familiar places. This creates a psychological connection to the location. The house isn't just a backdrop, it is a character in its own right. You are forced to confront it and master it. Backtracking through a singular, evolving location builds a deeper connection to the environment than any linear action set piece ever could. You grow to hate the house, but you also grow to respect its lethality. As we look at the landscape of 2026, we can see these ripples everywhere. The success of recent horror remakes and the continued dominance of the series is due to the bold decisions made here. It showed the industry that there was still an audience for slower, atmospheric horror. It proved that you don't need 1,000 enemies on screen to create a memorable experience. You just need one enemy that you are genuinely afraid of. Resident Evil reclaimed its greatness only by having the bravery to abandon the spectacle in favor of the shadow. It moved away from the Michael Bay explosions and back toward the creeping dread of the original 1996 classic. The future of the franchise depends on maintaining this delicate balance of mystery and vulnerability. It must continue to find ways to make us feel small and helpless in the face of the unknown. Because in the end, it is not the explosions we remember. It is the silence. It is the shadows. It is the feeling of being completely alone in a house that wants you dead.